the idea that you guys have three inherently diverse people, you got a white guy, a black guy, and an Asian guy, that are all young guys who have kind of made it in the media business, which a lot of young people would want to do, and leaving a blueprint for young people who want to go into the media is a really good idea.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. I'm here, of course, with the trademark names now. D-Hawk, DeAndre Hawkins, P-Bell, Parker Bell, and I'm, of course, K-Lou, Cody Lou. Like Johnny I said, we're young professionals trying to get people to, join the industry with us, join the sports media industry with us. We're here to help you guys. So anything we can do, if you're listening, we appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions on like what you want us to talk about or anything, leave that down in the comments for sure. Like, subscribe, I'll do all the things you need to do. It helps out the channel. And the NBA season just got finished. Congrats to the Denver Nuggets. They just wrapped up their season. They won the chip, beat Miami. It's always interesting to see what happens. It's always interesting to see the coverage, right? It was two kind of like, I would say, a small market team. And then obviously Miami's like a big market team, but obviously Denver and Jokic got the dub. But speaking to that, Michael Malone obviously had a lot to say. And the Nuggets announcer had a lot to say afterwards, calling Mike Malone the Lakers' daddy, which is interesting. And obviously, our guy LeBron had something to say about that.
The King responded.
I don't know how you guys felt about what LeBron had to say. I think the internet was kind of like, I think in his head, he thought it was like super hard what he said, but a lot of people on the internet was like, what is Bron trying to say? But to that point,
it's those long captions for me. It's like, bro,
it's pretty long. It was like 7 or 8 lines when I saw it.
We always give him the pass. I mean, he's been doing this for years.
Man, that man extra, bro. I'm gonna be on a different standpoint. That boy, I mean, always extra. But go ahead, Cody Lou.
But to that point, we kind of wanted to recap the NBA season in terms of our eyes. We had a chance to cover the Lakers for most of the season. And I'm going to kick it to P. Bell here because speaking about LeBron, he was there when LeBron broke the record. And that's obviously, like, I think the thing is, like, we don't even, like, it's crazy to, like, even think about, like, because that feels like so long ago. It feels like 2,000 years ago. But, I mean, P. Bell, take us through what happened there.
Right? No, thank you, Cody. I mean, to your point, yeah, this NBA season low-key felt really long. I don't know if maybe it's because as this whole show is about, like, it's one of our first years covering the NBA, and maybe once you work the NBA, it just feels like a longer season as opposed to just a fan. But also, before I start, shout out to my boy on the Nuggets, Peyton Watson, Long Beach Poly, little Long Beach native. So I see you out there, rookie. You didn't get any pictures. I see you in all the pictures. Making your way with the Jokic.
He got the ring. That's all that matters, right? He got the ring.
I could have sworn he was turning up to my boy Jokic in Vegas. No, was he out there with them?
He was out there, dog. He was, I don't think he could
swag
party.
surfing with my boy Jokic.
He can't party.
Jokic went to Vegas?
You didn't see that clip?
Bro.
No, I thought he went back to Serbia.
I'm gonna send it to you, dog. He went to Vegas right before he went to Serbia, bro.
Oh, okay.
Jokic got a little bit of hood in him. I ain't gonna lie.
What was it he said? What was it he said in the parade? He's like, I know I said I don't want to stay for parade, but fuck it, I want to stay for parade.
Yeah.
Everybody got high.
That was awesome. But I mean, yeah.
Nah, so maybe just froze for a second. Oh, we're good. So yeah, to Cody's point, we covered a lot of stuff in the NBA this year, and one of those, on the topic of LeBron, was the scoring record. And to be there in that moment as a first year NBA, whatever it may be, person covering, was one of the most surreal moments in my life. I'd covered previous games this season, and I've experienced like the madness of what it was like in crypto.com arena, and rubbing shoulders with some of the greats, seeing some people that you grow up idolizing and stuff. But to be there for the scoring record, guys, was probably it was a zoo. That might have been one of the craziest experiences I've ever had. Like, I had to sit up, of course, all the way in the hockey press. Your first year, you're not getting the luxurious media seats.
Yeah.
But my goodness, like, I almost shed a tear. I'm not gonna lie. Not because I'm such a huge LeBron fan. Like, I grew up a Kobe guy, but
yeah,
to experience history, you know? And I guess just what I want to say is that's just what you get in this world is crazy. You never know like what you're gonna get, experiences where you don't know what your emotions are gonna do. Like
Yeah.
if you're a sports fan, that's the type of stuff that you dream about being there. And obviously being able to cover it, create posts about it was just something I'm never gonna forget. And I'm gonna carry on into my future work. So
I'm gonna say, let me ask you something about that. Obviously, you covering the game and stuff.
yeah.
What was the energy like the moment you seen him do that turnaround shot to defeat the line? The moment you saw it go in, like was it hard to get a footage of that as you're recording so we can post on for social and stuff? And like, how was the angle and what was your approach as far as like, okay, whenever he's close to the mark of passing Kareem, I want to make sure that this is the way my angle is going to be.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So at previous games and games after that, usually the angle, and I know you guys can attest to this, is like, hey, if something big's gonna happen, I'm gonna get near the court. Just kind of linger around so that I can get good videos. Obviously, whatever your tier is for your credentials dictates where you can go. But for that game specifically, I had to tell myself, hey, I'm all the way at the top because it's a zoo. You know, my name is in the hockey press level, which is the 300s. So I'm gonna get that aerial viewpoint. And I actually thought my shot was really cool. We'll maybe play it if I can find it for this episode, but you can see everybody and their phones just light up at the same time. And I guess I don't know how I felt about that. Like I was kind of leaning towards the middle. Maybe I was mad that people weren't living in the moment. But it was still a really cool shot to see, just like everybody stand up, and the energy was crazy. The screams, like, I mean, he just passed Kareem, and Kareem was there. Surreal. One of the craziest experiences ever.
Man, that's a blessing there to truly be at a game like that, seeing a great pass, another great. I mean, like I said, I mean, everyone had different angles, different shots, and I just wanted to see like what was your perspective and your point of view as far as like, okay, when I get there, this is my goal as far as like how he breaks the record. Did you think when he broke the record, that shot that he took? And I honest to God, I thought that man was going to do like a sky hook. He was practicing that joint. He was practicing that joint like big time. I'm telling you. Hey, you guys know every single warm up we've seen him before that. He was literally on that baseline.
No,
the same type of shot, a hook shot, a hook shot, a hook shot. I'm like, this mofo is gonna do a hook shot to break the record,
bro.
Like, that was my personality. He threw us off, but hey, I just wanted to ask you that question, my boy P Bell, and I'm glad you were able to share that experience with us.
Let me ask you something else, Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, I mean, obviously everybody was there. Like everybody. If you talk about like media outlets, like I mean, you talk about like all the biggest sports, like media like icons like Stephen A, Rachel Nichols, like everybody was there.
Name
like,
a name.
That literally, and in that moment, like obviously, like the acts, obviously, like you said, like we're covering it for the first time. Like this was our first time, like our first season covering the Lakers. So obviously, like in terms of access, it's not always like as easy. But like, did you find it like difficult at all to like do stuff in general? Just because I blanks me, like I don't remember like what access you had. Like, were you allowed to be on the court? Because we usually are allowed to be on the court, but was it different for this game?
Yeah, no, I gotta dive into my memory banks here. So I believe I had photo credentials, but still the same tier. So I was able until 30 minutes prior
30 minutes
to tip off to to be on the court.
So
it felt like a normal game, but post game I wasn't able to get on the court at all. Like you had to be wristbanded, special access and everything. And shout out to Tanisha over at the Lakers. Like she kills it. We all know that she's a hard worker, and sometimes it can be like, oh boy, like I'm a first year. I don't want to.
You don't want to piss her off. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't want to piss her off.
Hey, for any of y'all covering Lakers, if you're gonna cover Lakers games, just stand her good side.
That's right.
Make sure you say hello. How you doing tonight? And make sure you got your vest on at all times. And whatever she says goes, bro. Just listen. That's all I
Nah,
gotta
yeah.
Because
say.
the thing
Because
is,
I
like,
don't.
she's so good at her job. Like
That's right.
that's like the thing though.
the-
It's not like we're trying to say this in like a negative way. She does her job so well. Like
Yeah.
it's not like
Exactly.
anything like to take a dig at her or anything. She's really
Mhm.
good at her job, and like the reason why like the Lakers media and like everything the Lakers are covered so well is I would say she's a great deal of that too.
Yeah. No, if anybody's wondering who we're talking about, she's like the head MR media relations, and you could probably find a clip of her messing with D'Angelo Russell
Yeah, that's right. The Coco Five.
where he tries to put his bottle, which isn't sponsored by the Lakers, and all
Yeah.
this stuff. But
Get that Cocoa 5, baby.
that's right.
Don't
But
get the Cocoa 5.
You've tried it?
speaking, yeah,
No,
have you?
I said
Uh,
no. I said don't get the Cocoa 5.
Oh, hey, I mean, you know,
I tell you, I have to say, I'm about to try it out, man. D-Lo be over there.
We'll try it out for the next episode.
facts. No, but I
Um,
probably went off tangent with your question, Cody. But like being at a mad house like event like that, as somebody who just entered, is really stressful.
Yeah.
So I found times where I was like sweating through my
Yeah.
shirt. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But you just have to like sit back and realize, hey, even if it's a crazy event, it's your job. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? If you make mistakes, it's not like you're gonna get fired just for accidentally stepping in the wrong place. It's usually you're just gonna get a firm like, hey, don't do that again.
You know what they always say: better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
That's right.
it's funny, man, because I like how you brought that up, Pivo, because I think the biggest thing that stuck with me is that I was always that one when I first got in the industry. Like, I don't want to be that guy to go up to a celebrity and be like, hey, like, do you mind, giving us a shout out, whatever.
Yeah.
Or hey, you mind doing a quick video? Or hey, you mind if I take a picture?
Mhm.
And I was like, I always had that mindset, like, I don't want to be that guy. I mean, first of all, I grew up out of nowhere, like Palm Springs. We ain't got no. I mean, we got some that come through here, but not like how it is when you go to a Laker game or stuff like
Yeah.
that. I mean, they literally come and go through there. So I mean,
Yep.
and then the biggest thing that stuck with me about this business is that no, like, you are that guy. You have the credential.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you are that guy. Like, take those pictures, take those videos, because like that's your job. Like, you were there to do that, to like, tell a story, and that's the whole point. Like, hey, these celebs are at this game because of this and that, you know what I mean? So I think that was the biggest thing, what you said, and that kind of reminded me, like, hey, like, we have to remind ourselves that this is our job. Like, we are those people. We got to be
Yeah.
those, like, got to be like an asshole and take those random photos and videos. So yeah, I mean,
No, for sure. You gotta, like Cody mentioned. Cody said it perfectly. It's better to ask for forgiveness later. Like,
exactly.
we are those guys. We're credentialed. Don't be afraid to just go say what's up to Stephen A. Like, I mean, he's got his people around him, and I know it's sometimes tough and might be stressful, but there's nothing wrong with just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" To
Hey,
any of
people. I
those
mean,
guys.
it's like, Stephen A. did give us a good 15 minutes of his time in the media room too. Like,
Exactly.
hey, and that was actually really funny. He came in there like, man, I told y'all about these Lakers, man. I told you about these Lakers.
Yep.
But but like you said, you never know how the interaction goes, man. But that's wild. Cody Lou, man.
Yeah, let's hear it. Come on,
Hey,
man.
man, you was there when the boys, they had a reload for the Lakers. You know what I mean? They had
Yes.
to revamp that team up. You were there for when the trade happened. Obviously
When
Russell-
my inspiration, Jared Vanderbilt, came to the Lakers.
yeah, and then they had to get rid of my boy Brody.
Yeah.
I was really hurt that day when I seen him go. When I seen how to, they traded for him. But hey, you were there when they arrived.
Yeah.
To crypto. And getting ready to wear that purple and gold. Give us a little bit of feel. How it was. At that first game, seeing them arriving at that arena.
Yeah, I think the tale of the Lakers season is it's two tales almost. Like it's
Mhm.
the Brody or the Brody era and then the post Brody era. And I think in general, I mean obviously surrounding like the trade deadline, everyone kind of knew like, okay, like they're gonna ship Westbrook somewhere. Like it's gonna happen at some point. And then it happened, and then Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and D'Lo obviously were Lakers. And I think I don't know how you guys felt as Laker fans and everything like that, but I think in general, like there was like an excitement because you're just like, okay, the season starts now, right? It's like they're not too far off, and like they were still kind of teetering towards like the bottom of the playoff table. They were still teetering. There was like an excitement about that game. But the thing is, I think right after that, or I don't know if that was the same game or not. I think it was the same game because Bronny and Bryce were also there. I think that was the game right after LeBron had broke the scoring record, and he had decided, how he went, like he sat out for like 2 weeks almost, basically.
Yeah.
Something like that. He wasn't playing that game. It was a Thursday game against the Bucks. I don't know if that was exactly like the day, but Bronny and Bryce were there.
Well, where he
and
gave
I
his
remember,
speech, right?
yeah, when he gave a speech, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that was like, that was its own whole thing, like because he wasn't really playing.
You were on the floor for that, no?
Yeah, I was on the floor for that. Yeah, and like so it was kind of crazy because like it was just like that week, like leading up to it, it was like, well, he's gonna break the record either against the Thunder or he's gonna break it against the Bucks, right? It was one or the other. And me, being selfish, like I wanted him to obviously break it against the Bucks, but
I think everyone did. Yeah,
he was there, and he gave a speech, and the speech was like it was just a simple speech. He was just thanking the fans, thanking the organization, and obviously, I mean, there isn't much else to say. Like once you break the record, it's kind of like its own mic drop, It's like what else do I need to say? Like
no. To that point, he said it all. Sorry to cut it, but he said it all during the game.
No, literally, when
he goes, "Fuck, man, thank you guys."
Yeah, it's like
that was all you needed to say.
Yeah, but
come on,
to get back to yeah, so like D'Lo, Malik, and Jared were all in the building, and you're just like, it was crazy because in the moment, and you guys, I'm sure you guys have felt that because obviously we were covering the playoffs. There was just so much happening in the moment because it was right. LeBron was like, he was about to come out, right? He was about to do his whole like speech thing, and then I see D'Lo, the back of D'Lo's head. I'm like, is that D'Lo? And then I see Jared Vanderbilt, like, oh crap, they're here. I was like, all right, let's we got to go grab this for social for sure. And then so I walk over, and then like it's so hard because like if you see it, everybody else in the building has seen it for sure, right? Because all the media are have the same objective, right? We're just trying to cover the game, trying to tell a story. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, I'm barely walking over it, and you already see the whole crowd of people just like totally walking over, and like they're storming. And I think they were talking to like AC Green or something. I think D'Lo was like talking to like AC Green, who was also on the floor. And mind you, like LeBron is about to walk out, right? LeBron's about to walk out for his speech, so like you got to kind of be ready for that too. And then right as like I'm taking video and like photos of like D'Lo, and like it's like the arrival of like the new Lakers, like can they turn it around? Right behind them is I think is like Bryce and Bronny, and it's like, oh my god, it's like, well, obviously like you gotta do a video and take a photo of them too, right? So then like that became its whole thing. And I think the important thing is like, I think the one thing I could take away from like all that is like, you definitely gonna like have to be in the moment for sure, like but you also kind of have to be quick with it. Like you could appreciate like, oh, it's awesome, I'm at the arrival of like D'Lo, like it's this whole big turnaround. Can they turn it around for the Lakers? You're at this moment, right? But also at the same time, it's like well, as soon as I saw Bronny and Bryce, like I kind of had like this switch in my head, like, oh crap, all right, let's go grab Bronny and Bryce, like get a video of them too. Like I think the important thing to realize in the industry is like, you got to be quick. Like there's just so much that's happening at once, and you just kind of never know like what in this like little spurts that you get, like little like time slots of like, there's only like a few seconds where you can get things sometimes, because to get the perfect shot, obviously everyone, like you don't want people to be in your way and like everything like that, and everyone's also trying to get the same spot or same shot, so there's pushing, and like I think you just kind of have to be quick with it, and then like whatever you get is whatever you get. And like unfortunately, like sometimes it may not be the best, but at least you have something to kind of put up. I've always put stamp on like quality a little bit over like just having something. But in those moments where like things are happening, and I'm sure Parker, you experience the same thing when you're at LeBron's thing, like whatever you got is like whatever you got, like we're gonna put it up because like it's too special of a moment to like not put it up at all.
Mhm.
So I would say like it was cool because it was like it felt like you were it felt like you were at the beginning of the new season because it was just like it was like almost like a preseason game because you see them like they're not obviously not dressed up in like any Laker stuff.
Yeah,
They got
they're
their
in the street clothes.
yeah, they swagged out and everything like that. So you're like, it felt like a preseason game because it's like, oh, like everyone's like buzzing because everyone's like, oh, D'Lo, D'Lo, D'Lo.
I got
Like
more
everyone
drip
was
than
kind of
D'Lo.
yeah. Everyone was like kind of like tripping out over them being there. But those are the moments where you just kind of have to like just be like on your feet, like ready to go. Like you just got to be aware of like what's happening and the important like when you're covering like games and everything. It's also like I'll mention this now. It's like good to know people like the security people or like
Yeah.
the media relations people, just because they probably know like a lot of the times a lot of these things are kind of set timed. So like LeBron's gonna come out at like 5:10 or something like that, right? It's not like he's just gonna come out like randomly. Like everything's kind of planned out for the most part.
Unless you're postseason, bro.
Unless you're postseason, bro, he's gonna show up like 5 hours early. But and we're like make friends with like the media relations people, any media people. Like it's a huge opportunity to like know things ahead of time. Because like if I knew ahead of time, like D'Lo and like Jared and like whoever were gonna be there like at a certain time, that like you could prep for that, and it gives you a better opportunity to like get better shots. So the one thing I would say is also like, yeah, be friends with like the media relations people, be friends with all the security people, because they usually for the most part they know what's up, and they're usually for the most part willing to help out as long as you're nice to them. Nobody's there to be like kind of an asshole or anything like that. Nobody wants to be an asshole. They're usually willing to help. You just gotta. It starts with the hi, just how are you doing, and that's
exactly.
the start of a relationship.
No, so you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I had a question for you, Cody.
Yeah.
When you're in a moment like that, when there's 20 things going on,
mm-hmm.
How is it in that moment trying to pick and choose, like just on the mental side, like what is it like? What's the feeling like when you have to choose, let's say, let me get this Bryson Bronny moment over, maybe James Worthy is over there talking with Vanderbilt or something.
Yeah. I think it's part of like it's prioritizing things that you think the way I see it is prioritizing things that I think will hit on social media.
Yep.
And like the one thing was like, it was LeBron's, like it was his, it was the game after he was doing his whole speech thing. So like a lot of people don't have access to like, to see what's happening at the speech. So that's like, to me, that was like top priority. But that didn't happen until later on. So like, as soon as I saw D'Lo, it's like, it's just prioritizing things like that you think will hit. And that's like talking it over with like, obviously like whoever you're working with, or like, your peers, just talking over like, hey, like if this happens, like, what should I do? It's all about prioritizing the things that you think will most likely hit on social media. Like, and that's like not a dig at like, James Worthy or like, a lot of the Laker legends.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
like we're in an age now where like, Bronny and Bryce are like basically like top-notch athletes, even though they're in high school. Like they're basically like, they're on the same tiers as like, not, I would say like a LeBron, but a lot of like NBA stars are right there, so it's in that mindset of like knowing what's on trend, knowing what's hitting, knowing what's popping on social media. Because if I were to like take a picture of like, or take a video of like, some of the Laker legends that were there, like, yeah, it would have been cool, like obviously to know that they're there, but you just never know. If you don't keep in trend of what's happening, then it's a lot harder for you to like get things like that hit. And like, obviously we're in a business where like results are like everything. So like,
yeah,
hopefully like, you don't know, right? Like me personally, I didn't know, like maybe the Laker legend stuff would have hit more than the Bronny and Bryce thing. I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta like, it's always a learning experience. Like it's always a game of wins and losses, right? So like I may have lost in that sense because I didn't try it out, but at least I, tried my best and like prioritize what I thought was good enough for the social media. It's all based on what you think personally. I think it's always storytelling. And like, to me, it's like, what would you define it? Like what I thought would be the best story to tell. That's how I kind of like approach it.
And all that comes with, like you said, preparation. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
What is trending at that moment? Yeah, at that time, you're right. It would have been Bryce and Bronny.
Bryce and Bronny, exactly. Yeah.
So
and I stick to that to this day, and I think all of us would agree. Like it's just like there's just things you have to prioritize because you can't grab anything, and anyone will tell you that you can't grab everything. It's just the nature of the business. You just grab as much as you can, and you just post as much as you can.
Yeah. So, dude, I mean, we've kind of touched on like, hey, one season highlight, Braun breaks a record.
Yeah.
Middle of the season, the Lakers kind of turned things around. We all know how that went, you know, from 2-10, et cetera, to playoffs. But speaking of playoffs, DeAndre, I know you kind of wanted to touch on what it was like for a first-year person in the industry to cover the playoffs and to see teams like the Nuggets, whether it was the play-in, et cetera, kind of roll through crypto there.
Oh man, honestly, like through all the roller coasters the Lakers had this season, it was kind of like, damn, like, are they really a playoff team? So obviously, like, you know, before the trades happened, you know, with D'Lo, Vanderbilt, and forgot about Mo Bamba too. You know, Mo Bamba should have been to that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Our boy was stuck at the U-Haul. You know what I mean?
Of course, Rui was there a week before too.
And then Rui was there. Yeah, it was like
there
crazy.
before. So like, I mean, all those trades were just happening. And then when you see like the pieces coming together, you're like, oh man, like, can this team really play in team? Maybe, you know, because it wasn't really like, you know, it was too high to think about 6 seed or 7 seed. It was like, oh, there definitely could be a play-in team. So obviously, as the season started to come to an end, they did get that 8 seed, or they got into the play-in, and they ended up facing the Timberwolves. I mean, that game, the atmosphere was incredible because, obviously you want to build that hype up. Like, okay, this is the postseason now. So I remember like my angle going in that day was like, all right, how can we make the people who are watching these stories or our Twitter feed and like Facebook stories and all that know that this is a meaningful game because the Lakers got a chance to solidify a playoff spot. So obviously they had different signages of like, hey, this is the NBA play-in tournament, you know. Obviously they had a little bit of merchandise on the chairs and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let's try to do something with that. So obviously I seen the play-in sign on the floor. It's like, oh, this is the play-in tournament to signify, all right, this is a big game, man. And everyone's here. They need to win this game. If they lose, okay, but you rather them get that win out of the way. They have time to really, you know, prepare for, you know, the next game, obviously next series. And man, just seeing how they came out, it was interesting because the Timberwolves, obviously their stars, Anthony Edwards and, you know, Karl-Anthony Towns. And when I tell you that the Lakers game plan really well for Anthony Edwards, it was really great to see. But
my man was broke.
Yeah,
he was
struggling. At the end of that game, everybody was. It was crazy. I was with you at that game. Yeah,
you were with me. But just seeing like one guy who really is underrated in my opinion, and I myself can speak on that because I thought really low of him ever since like he's been bounced around a couple of teams. It was Mike Conley. Dude, Mike Conley came in that playing game like, hey, look.
Prime.
I've been in the playoffs before. I had that Memphis run. Like, I know what to expect. I know what we should do, what we can do in order to get us to a perfect position to win this game. And he delivered that whole game. I mean, he was going unconscious. So just seeing like the reaction of like the crowd in there, like I'm getting footages of like, you know, obviously you want to see the highs and the lows of the game. So I was getting footages of, you know, when Lakers go on runs. And obviously, when Mike Conley hit another big three, you hear the crowd like, oh, and like you just see like he's like sucking energy out of him. So I remember like I had that bankroll, and I was like, dude, should I post that? Because you can just hear like the crowd like really low. Yeah, like wow, like, oh damn, like, and so like I was toward the end of the game, and like you just start seeing everyone like standing up. So I made sure like, okay, playoffs. What's the biggest thing for playoffs? Energy. You know, you like to hear the crowd cheering. See if they're really into this game or not. So I remember, I forgot who, but someone on the Lakers made a big three. I forgot who it was. Ended up making a big three. I think it was Shooter. Shooter hit
Dennis,
that big three.
When they hit
in front of him.
Yeah. Shooter hit that big three in the corner. And I'm against LeBron sometimes because I feel like to this day that he's not aggressive. Not aggressive enough to, you know, to close out games. But as a basketball player, which we all can agree on, like That was probably one of the best passes I ever seen. And he put his full trust in the shooter to make that shot, and shooter delivered. But I remember like that shot right there. I was like, we gotta have this. We gotta have this shot. We gotta
Yep.
get this ready to go. We gotta have our phones ready to go and record. And I just remember like seeing everyone like stand up when that ball released out of his hands, and I just remember getting a crowd shot and just posting it, and like numbers just went like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And like obviously we all had different angles and stuff, so they would piece it together at the end of the night. But I think that was my approach, is that going in that playing game and just the playoffs in general, knowing that like it's all about telling a story like, okay, this is the plan, or like this is game one of the first round of Western. This is game two, whatever. You know what I mean? And honestly, when it comes to playoffs, it kind of tells the story itself.
Yep.
I feel like it tells the story itself. Like we knew, all right, this is the playing game. And then when they advanced, they played Memphis the first round. You knew first round, Memphis is gritty. Like the grit and grind. That's that's what they are. That's their culture. You know what I mean? They play hard, they play tough, but obviously going into that series, they had a lot of key injuries. And I mean, you guys know, I mean, let's go off that Timberwolves to that series. It's like, all right, injuries is a big factor. Me personally, I feel like you guys probably agree with this. I feel like the Lakers going into that series, like, oh yeah, they I feel like they're gonna win this series. It's like
The Memphis series?
I going in, I thought the Lakers like, all right, they got this series. Going into game 6, I just knew it. Like it was gonna either be game 6 or 7. Just the way I felt the energy was. Like, Memphis obviously was poking the bear, poking LeBron, and like Dylan Brooks making those comments, and then like Ja, obviously he had his off court issues, and then couldn't get his hand right. His injury with his hand.
Yep.
And I just felt really confident going in that series. But man, fast forward, obviously got the Golden State series, and that one I was really iffy about, because Golden State obviously fresh off a championship run, and just seeing them in that series is like, damn, bro, like how do they have numbers to guard these, guard Steph, guard Clay, and luckily Klay Thompson struggled that series with the shooting. And then, just seeing how that angle was going to be. I just feel like as each game was progressing for the Lakers, it was like, damn, can they really do this? Can they really make this run?
Yeah.
So after they beat Memphis, then fast forward, they beat Golden State. And then I was like, oh man, the Denver Nuggets, which we all love to, talk about. Obviously going in that series. And then you just kind of see it like, obviously when we covered game 3, and like just seeing it, it was like, damn, the Lakers got no answers for Denver. It was kind of like hard to like see it, but in reality, when you really came to reality and came to conclusion, and like once game 4 hit, and like, I mean, when Jokic was making literally those tough ass shots, I was like, all right, yeah, this series is really not meant to be, obviously, when you're covering it and like being on the floor. But yeah, man, honestly, like I would say for people who are in, covering the NBA and like, come to playoff times, it's like, dude, you gotta make sure you tell a great story to kind of build the atmosphere to people know, like, okay, this is game 2, or this is the play-in game, or round 1, round 2, Western Conference Finals. I mean, you gotta tell that story, because it's like, right, it's like you gotta find it, because like I said, I guess mentioned earlier, it's like I feel like the story is there itself, but just knowing the angle and how you want to approach it going to each game 1, game 2, I feel like that's how the story will be told.
I think the important thing to realize also is like the audience that you're trying to target is like the audience that's not at the game, right? It's like you're trying to help people understand like what the atmosphere is like for people that aren't lucky enough to be at the games and everything like that. Sorry, people, to cut you off right there.
No, I kind of had a similar sentiment, because I mean, just to your point, DeAndre, obviously as basketball minds, you kind of know the storyline just by following the NBA. Well, let's say you're not like a basketball, freak like the three of us, DeAndre especially, and you're still find yourself covering like the NBA, because that's just where your job takes you. Yeah, DeAndre is completely right. You got to be able to prepare and learn the storylines, because that's how you're going to know what hits, what social things hit. And a funny point about like the Nuggets series, as first years, DeAndre and I, we already found ourselves in, when you work consistently and you're covering games consistently, you don't realize how spoiled you are. And there was a moment in time where we were hanging with my family, and uh, I think it was DeAndre said something to me, and then I looked at him and I was like, "Hey, Lakers about to get swept, dog. Do we really even want to go to Game 4?" And my whole family looked at me and said, "Do we really want to go to Game 4?"
They're like, oh, boo, boo! You gotta go to Game 4. You gotta go work at
Western
Game
Conference
4,
Finals.
Western Conference Finals. Ooh. But it is true that I did at that moment. I was like, damn, the family is kind of right. I felt a little spoiled at that
Right?
moment.
No, and I think that was like my first kind of where it flipped the switch and showed me, okay, you can't take this stuff for granted because you're in a position that so many people want to be in. And if you do take it for granted, you're not going to make it long in this business. So that was a big lesson that I learned, especially like talking around our office and talking to people who have done this for 10, 20 years plus.
Yeah.
They're like, you're going to see a lot of moments like this. You're going to see a lot of crazy moments like LeBron breaking the scoring record, Lakers going from 2-10 to the playoffs, seeing them in the Western Conference Finals.
With 3%, baby.
Yeah, that's right. But
100%.
you got to be able to tell yourself, this is work, and you got to show up every day. Like,
did I ever tell you guys that story about the Game 4 when obviously Nuggets closed the series out, the West Conference, and I tried to get some footage?
are we talking about
like post game?
Post game footage. I was trying to get some post game footage to kind of show some reaction.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wanted to get man. So there's also many times you're gonna run in, and you got to realize that the team or whatever team you're covering for, when it comes to playoffs, it's not in your playoffs anymore.
Yeah,
like,
the NBA runs
the NBA,
like
the NBA runs it. So I remember like when it came to the Lakers, obviously, and Nuggets closed the series out. I just remember like, I gotta get down on the floor. I gotta make sure I want to get footage of LeBron shaking hands. We don't know what LeBron right now. He's up in the air.
Literally.
So I remember I just go down there and I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm about to get on the floor. About to get some good content. I'm ready to post this stuff right away. Obviously, man, I get in the little tunnel area.
Mm-hmm.
I look up, see the clock running down because obviously the game was still close. And then obviously the clock running down, Nuggets, iced it with some free throws. And then to see him like every single media personnel you can think of, like about to storm the court. I'm like, oh, there's some people, there's no way they can stop me. All right. So I'm like running through. And this dude, security guard comes right in front of me. Boom. Like really like kind of like chest bumping, like he was like a defensive player on the basketball court.
Yeah.
He's like, where's your badge? Where's your badge? And I was like, I got it right here. He's like, no. You need a green badge. And I'm like, oh man, like he's talking to me. I'm kind of like brushing them off. Comes like seeing like LeBron walking through.
Yeah.
I'm seeing D-Lo. I'm seeing AD walking through. And I'm like, yeah, I got my badge. He's like, no, you need to go. I'm like, so I'm like, I go around. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get post game stuff. I'm trying to see the goal for me that night was like, whether win or lose, I wanted to see Lakers reaction. So I remember I went in the tunnel and I'm like, damn, bro, like LeBron was already through. I'm like, AD already walked through. But good thing I was able to get Darvin walking through. Austin Reeves, he's a big factor. The Lakers, of course, and the other key players. But like, you're gonna come across some times where like you're gonna have limited access to things, and you're gonna have to find a different approach.
Yeah,
as far as covering for.
That's huge. That's huge, DeAndre. I like that. This business is trial and error.
Yeah.
Cody can attest to it. Like, especially as first years, you're not going to know everything you can do and everything you can't do. You just got to do it. And sometimes sometimes a security guard is going to be on quick feet and get in front of you.
Yeah. The whole thing is like, I would say is like, sorry to cut you off.
No,
everything is like, it's all about like prep. Yep. Like, I feel like as long as you prepare for like everything, like if you get like that, like DeAndre's like story, it's like, it sucks, but it was just like that, those moments will happen. But like DeAndre was prepared. So if he was given that opportunity, he would have nailed it for sure. Right. Mm-hmm. If you had that opportunity. And the thing is like, you just got to like be ready. Like I'll give another story that I have, like the Warriors, when they closed out the Warriors, it was like the whole storyline is like, oh, LeBron, Curry, they're back at it again. They face each other in the playoffs, and like when they closed out the Warriors at home, I remember like, I was like, all right, cool. at the 2-minute mark, I'm gonna get ready to like get ready to go on the court, right? Because everything's like that's when like and everything's about to happen. And then it happened like so at the end of the game happens, right? And all of a sudden, like everything, like everybody rushes onto the court. It's like crazy. And it's like, and you see LeBron, I see LeBron tracking already. I'm like, oh crap, here we go. And it like he's going to dap up, Draymond, Steph, and everything like that. And I tell you, like, I wish I could show you, like, if I have like clips of it, I'll show you guys. But like the crowd that is there is like crazy. It was like I was like trying to get an angle, like just like through people's like armpits and like arms and like everything, like just to see if I could get an angle of like LeBron and Draymond just dapping up, right? And it was so hard. And like in those moments, you just like you realize like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have taken like this side to the court. Maybe I should have taken the other side, right? It's just being prepared because like I will say in that moment, like I would say I was prepared mentally to be like, okay, I know what I want, but like physically, I wasn't like prepared to be like, oh crap, like and it's unfortunate that it has to be like this sometimes, but sometimes you just gotta like you gotta stiff arms with people to be like, hey, like I'm trying to get the same thing too, and it sucks, but that's just the way you prepare for things. And like I wish I had that moment like on my phone, like LeBron and Steph like dapping up because you see the shots afterwards and you're like, oh my god, like I was right there and I didn't get a shot to get it. And like there's other moments that you can capture, but like it's just about being prepared.
Yeah. Hey, so I mean, guys, the NBA season was crazy, and we got to cover it for the first time ever in our career. So I, for one, am really appreciative that we were able to do it, and I love that we're able to share our experiences. So I just want to say, as Johnny I said at the beginning in the intro, you guys heard it. We are there and we're young in this industry and we're making it. So if you guys have any questions, what it was like covering the NBA, please, like Cody said in the beginning, hit us up in the comments, hit us up on our Twitter. We will be more than happy to share our experiences and answer questions. And also, I mean, even though we're first years, we got some credibility. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah.
We were talking to John Ireland the other day, the voice of the Lakers, and this guy said, listen, you guys might even have more access than me because I'm just perched up in my announcer's booth all game. Yep. You guys have been everywhere in that stadium.
Yep.
So we're there every game covering the NBA, and we're going to be doing more sports. So I'm super excited to keep this podcast going and you guys joining us on our journey. I've been P Bell alongside D Hawk and K Lou.
Yo.
Guys, this is the Blueprint Podcast. We'll catch you later.
Peace.